What if I told you the best power system in anime isn't chakra, stands, alchemy, or even Nen from Hunter x Hunter, which every anime YouTuber on this platform believes is the pinnacle of creative anime abilities? No. The best power system can be found in the Toaru franchise, that being a certain magical index and a certain scientific railgun. But there's a catch. There isn't just one power system. It has scientific Esper powers based on quantum physics and magic, which takes its inspiration from religions, mythologies, and the occult. And it's not like the case of JoJo, where Hamon was the main power system, only for it to be given the Araki Forgot treatment and replaced with magic and science coexist at once, and they are equally as important. Also, don't tell the Railgun only fans they are more interlinked than what's on the surface, as Railgun is a spin-off of Index that features little to no magic, with it predominantly focused on science. So, as they are science purists, they are literally terrified of magic, treating it like it's the root of all evil. Magic doesn't make any sense. It doesn't use facts and logic like science. But I'm here to give the magic side of things some love too, as it's by no means generic, like how it's implemented in the average fantasy isekai series. First, I'll explain the origins of the power system itself, how they both function, and then what makes it so amazing. The mad genius behind Index, Kamachi Kazuma, noticed how many other light novel series adopted magic in their stories, but saw only wasted potential. He was intrigued by the concept of real-life magic, distinct to stage magic through its different spelling. Haha, spelling! That's what we call a pun. Through Kamachi's research into the occult, he discovered the works, rituals, and practices of ceremonial magicians such as the infamous Aleister Crowley, who he also wrote into the story as a character. Aleister said in one of his books, "Magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with the will." Inspired by this quote, Kamachi conceived his magic power system through the lens of science, but felt something was missing. In order to have the magical elements stand out, he devised the science side as a natural opposite to the occult. However, by introducing the concept of Esper powers in the story, he envisioned this would make the supposed science appear more like fantasy, once again blurring the lines and interlinking the two concepts.
Science rules.
Espers of the science side generally reside in Academy City, a futuristic city with technology superior to everywhere in the world. Via the use of experiments, research, and drugs, students within what is known as the Power Curriculum program can manifest psychic abilities. Each student is limited to one ability, due to the nature of a concept of a personal reality. An Esper's personal reality is based on quantum physics, specifically the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, where a cat is supposedly concealed in a box where it is in a state of being neither dead or alive. That is, until you open the lid and view the contents. In the context of Espers, they are able to manifest a different reality in their minds to the one presented in front of them. By ignoring the uncertainty principle, they can manipulate the possibility of the reality in front of them by presenting their own version of it, which then produces their power on the surface, using the microcosm of their personal reality in their mind to influence the macrocosm, the external reality before them, or in caveman terms, small reality in brain, influence real world. I hope that clarifies things. Espers are dependent on innate talent to determine their strength, and only teenagers are selected for the development program, as their brains are undergoing huge changes due to puberty. Depending on how they perform in experiments and their personal development, they will be assigned a level from 0 to 5, depending on the scale and capabilities of their Esper power. Level 0s being at the bottom, who are still technically classed as Espers, and yet nearly all of them are completely powerless, and level 5s being at the top of the food chain, with only 7 that exist out of a city with over 2 million students, and have powers that are as impactful as a nuclear weapon. These abilities are often based on real-life scientific theories and concepts, such as Accelerator's vector control, the ability to control any quantity with both direction and magnitude, which you would know if you are an expert on Despicable Me lore. But there are also powers that are loosely based on science, such as dark matter, which has nothing to do with real dark matter and just involves Kakina splurting his white stuff everywhere. And that sounds wrong on so many levels. Now it's time for a bit of magic, which is seen as the power system for those without talent. Because in most cases, you've got to be a nerd to actually study to be a competent magician, promoting the concept of hard work. Anyone can use magic as long as they use the correct methods and resources, as all living beings generate mana, the life force energy needed to cast spells. But how does something as illogical as magic work, you may ask? The main application of it is known as idol theory. And no, I'm not talking about Love Live or Idolmaster, you filthy weebs. By borrowing the power of an established legend, myth, or concept by replicating it in some capacity. For example, Archbishop Biagio can increase the size of his crosses, just as the legend of Saint Margaret, where she used it to kill an evil dragon which swallowed her whole. Oddly specific, but you get the point. Another key component of magic is spiritual items, which act as an extension of the magician themselves, with mana flowing through it. And these items often use idol theory to gain power of an original powerful weapon for the magician to be able to channel some of that power for themselves. There are also other different aspects of magic, such as grimoires, infection magic, telesma, and ley lines, etc., which function different to idol theory but have some similar concepts. And instead of quantum physics, there is a plethora of real-world religions and weird occult concepts for magic to take inspiration from, such as Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Norse mythology, Rosicrucianism, Thelema, and many, many more. I'm still waiting for Tom Cruise to be revealed as the magic god of Scientology. And they can even take inspiration from fictional stories in the latest light novels, although the exact reason how that is possible has been left a mystery for now. Magicians are also not limited to just one power like Espers are, as the more they study, the more spells they will be able to use. Magicians aren't given ranks like Espers are, unless they join something known as a magic cabal or a magical organization in which leaders or senior members may be assigned, although they do have something known as magic names, but these aren't really related to the power system and more linked to the magician's personal goals or philosophy. Also, if you would like to see a giant ass video essay explaining why Index is a masterpiece in my eyes, then help me get to 25k subs, and I will drop that video for you guys as I spread the Index gospel. I also feel like I'm forgetting about something important. Ah yes, the gender equalizing fap hand which destroys illusions, known as a magic breaker, which is the ability of Index's main character, Kamijo Toma. This power is unique in the fact it's not magic or science, despite seemingly having connections to both sides. But Aeon, what is it? A magic breaker is seemingly written as a mystery on purpose, with it being able to nullify nearly any supernatural power in the series, whether magical or scientific in nature. However, it is completely useless against physical attacks that are not supernatural, which is what makes it more balanced. Its role in the story is unique as a result, as it blurs the line between the two established power systems in an intentional way. As while it is used by a level 0 Esper and is the key to the hidden side of Academy City, the center of science, it also represents the hopes and dreams of all magicians, as later revealed in the novels, and has another link to the magic side that I won't spoil. And yet, it is also the magic side's kryptonite. Magic and science are two sides of the same coin that would probably take me an entire week to explain. But to condense it, once upon a time there was no real difference between the two systems, but they slowly evolved into separate laws. While Espers can technically use magic, it's not something that's recommended, as the drugs within the body of an Esper aren't compatible with using mystical powers, causing their blood vessels to explode from within as punishment. As Lavinia Birdway explains, magic is a technique created to allow those without talent to catch up to those with talent. It's an issue of the format. It was not created for people who have talent in the first place. Saying Index is a difficult series to understand is a drastic understatement. It's like my channel has turned into Index for Dummies. Hey, I'm not saying you the viewer are dummies. I'm not that much of a dick. And just because Index is so rich with lore and complex things doesn't necessarily mean that it's well written. Any idiot can write the most complicated power system in the world, and as a result, it's an incoherent mess, where even Dragon Ball or Naruto puts it to shame. Although I think the actual inspirations behind these powers are what make them so fascinating, and how they are applied in universe, like Misaka's power being named after a military weapon, and Index after a real list of banned books. What I also think determines the quality of the power system is that if it is well implemented in the verse, is it creative, and how the powers are actually applied by their users. Index has very similar fights to JoJo in a way, as the fights usually involve characters having to analyze the abilities of their enemies using logic or their environment to outsmart them and successfully counter with their own unique power. This is exemplified through Toma, limited to only Imagine Breaker in most fights, searching for an opening to strike the final blow, or magicians who understand magic finding flaws in the opponent's spell due to having knowledge of it themselves and exploiting it to create a countermeasure, or how the scientific powers will interact, such as disrupting the calculations of the enemy Esper to prevent them from using their ability, or when you get a direct magic versus science confrontation, where either side likely doesn't understand the nature of their enemy's ability, and two unique systems clash as each fighter has to improvise on the spot in order to try and win. This allows not only for strategic fights, which are less about power-ups and Shonen-style training arcs, but also a plethora of ingenious abilities which complement the fights perfectly. The power system in Index is much more than your average power system, as it also directly correlates to the world itself, as pointed out by Shiro in this tweet. You can watch my Politics in Index video for more information, but since each power system corresponds to a different side of the world, with its own beliefs and infrastructure, it adds immense value to the world building and lore of Index as a whole. Truly, it makes Index's power system stand on a tier of its own, as the series continues to blow me away with its originality, which every amateur author out there probably wishes they had a fraction of Kamachi's ideas. This fascinating and original blend of two systems complement each other in such a seamless fashion, which makes it stand above other series in my eyes. When magic and science collide, the story begins. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the Toaru franchise, then watch these videos on screen right now, and like and share this video so other people can check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.